Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Death Zone Mercenaries, Bona Fide Big Guy. So Death Zone is out now, or is going to be in a few days' time, and inside it are some expanded rules for Mercenaries as an inducement in your Blood Bowl team. There are 5 different types, and within those 5 different types, there's about 5,000 options for you to choose from these players, which is phenomenal. Basically, we've got a build your own star player rule set from Games Workshop. So Ben and I have talked about it on the podcast, and you've probably seen the unboxing of Death Zone by now, so you kind of got an idea of what the rules are like and what the sets are like. But I thought what might be decent, or what might be useful to do, is to go through each type of mercenary, each of the 5, and look at the different traits and skills, and really just take a bit of a deep dive into why you want to run these guys. Now, we're going to start off with the most exciting one, which is the Bona Fide Big Guy, which is available to all of your Blood Bowl teams. So the Bona Fide Big Guy, you get 0 to 1 on any team. It's an inducement only, and depending on your tournament, you may be able to take them. Depending on your league, you may be able to take them. But if you can find them, you may be able to hire them. So this big guy comes in at a bargain 130,000. Movement 4, Strength 5, Edge 4+, Passing 5+, and Armor 9+. Kind of make it a bit of an underpowered ogre. We've lost a point of movement and we've lost a point of armor. But still, 130k for a Strength 5, Edge 4+ piece, with a few skills too. It's got Bonehead. That's what more do you expect? Bonehead with Loner 4+ is really standard for an ogre. You're still 10k under here. Mighty Blow +1 and Throw Teammate means that this positional allows you to have a chunky bruiser in the middle of your pitch, but if you are a team that has access to stunties or enough cash left over to hire yourself a mercenary stunty, you can build your own Throw Teammate element. And in fact, you can probably band together with a Bona Fide Big Guy and a mercenary stunty and build your own Brickfarth and Grotty, build your own Grack and Crumbleberry, which is pretty exciting. However, we're looking at Grack now. So these are the starting stats. From this point, you get to add skills, stats, and special traits. So your Bona Fide Big Guy must take at least one stat adjustment, skill adjustment, or trait. Okay, so you've got to upgrade it one way or another. So it's 130k as a starting point, but you do need to take at least one upgrade. So we'll start looking at skills really quickly. So they can take a single additional strength skill for 30k, or 2 or more strength skills for 40k apiece. So 1 skill for 30 or 2 skills for 80 means that you can kind of tool up this big guy to however you want him. I'm thinking 160k for a movement and armor busted ogre with guard is probably pretty good. That's not bad. If you're looking at most teams, I mean, I'm thinking about something like Amazons or something who maybe want somebody powerful on the line. Dude, 160k for a guard ogre essentially is pretty sweet as far as mercenaries. As far as inducements are concerned, that is really better than a wizard, but don't tell the listeners of the Bonehead podcast that I said that, because, you know, is it better than a wizard? At that point, yeah, probably is. So you can take 1 general skill for 40k, 1 passing skill that is not leader for 30k, or 1 mutation skill for 40k. So if you wanted Mighty Blow Claw, it's going to cost you 170k. That's not bad either. Mercenaries are really exciting, and it gets more exciting here. I haven't built the spreadsheet for this yet, but it will be done probably very soon. So you then get to adjust the mercenaries' stats. So Bona Fide Big Guy may improve or reduce any characteristic by up to 2 as follows. So this is where you can start saving some cash, or inflating it massively. So +1 movement is 20k, +2 movement is 50k, but it's only available to a couple of different teams. So teams with Favoured of, Lustrian, Super League, Sylvanian Spotlight, or Underworld Challenge can add +2 movement to get you up to movement 6. When you're looking at a big guy, movement 6 is probably not massively useful. I wouldn't bother updating the movement, but hey, it's up to you. +1 edge to get you to edge 3 is pretty sweet, but it is going to cost you 40k. +1 passing or +2 passing is going to be 30k or 60k, and the +2 passing is only Badlands Brawl, Halfling Thibble Cup, Old World Classic, or Underworld Challenge. So basically teams that can include a straightforward stunty in their roster, with the exception, yeah, anything with right stuff can basically take it. That +2 passing, so getting that sweet passing 3+ on a big guy for 190k is really interesting. You can take +1 armor for 20k as well if you want to be as tough as an ogre. Yeah, maybe, actually maybe. But this is where it gets really interesting, because you can take away stats from this big guy. You can reduce each stat, any stat, by up to -2, and you save 10k per stat adjustment. So you can turn this guy into a tree by taking away 20k's worth of stats. But it can only be reduced to the value of 130k or more. So it can't be reduced to any less. You can't make it cheaper. You can't make it cheaper by using the stats, but what you can do is kind of balance out. So if you want a movement 3 guard piece, you add guard for 30k, taking up to 160, and then, you know what, I'm not going to be doing any passing at all. Let's take 20k off for passing, because I'm not going to be throwing stuff, and let's take 10k off for agility, because I don't need it. Well, you've saved all your money. It's 130k then for a Ag 5 plus passing dash strength 5 mighty blow guard piece. That is pretty tasty. But wait, there's more. So, there are also trait packages, I think is what they're called. Yeah, trait packages. In addition, a bona fide big guy may exchange the Bonehead trait for a single package of upgrades from this list. Now, this can all be combined. So, if your mind is going, what? Then you're probably not far off where I was when I started reading it. So let's have a look at some of the trait packages you can take for big guys. So any team can turn it into a troll, basically. So you save 20k. Now I believe you can do this, and you can take the cost down to below 130. The only way you can't take it below 130 is if you're doing stat reductions. I'm not sure how that combines. If you take this, but you do that. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll have to figure that one out. Anyway, -1 agility, but you gain always hungry, projectile vomit, really stupid, and regeneration for -10k. If you really like trolls and you want to save that 10k, it could be useful to get that troll. I mean, regen is going to be useful, and projectile vomit can be quite good. Always hungry is bad, and really stupid is literally the worst. So if you want to save 10k, you can, but I think I'd rather fire a star player than run a poor man's troll. Or you can reduce throw teammate and add in Frenzy, Unchanneled Fury, and Horns to get yourself a mini Minotaur. So plus 20k takes you to 150k. And you get a Minotaur. It's a slow Minotaur at movement 4, but you know what? Any team, that's not true, not any team. Badlands Brawls, Badlands, Favoured, Halfling Thimble Cup, Old World, Underworld, and whatever Wes is, World Edge Super League. So the majority of teams. So yes, your dwarf team can take a Minotaur, which means you can get a Clockwork Minotaur and run it for your dwarf team, or just take a Death Roller and run it as the Minotaur, and then you're good to go. Good job, everybody. We solved Death Rollers. So you can also turn it into a kind of Rat Ogre, or a Yeti is probably more appropriate. Plus 20k to 150. Get rid of Throw Teammate. Not going to need it anyway. Frenzy, Animal Savagery, Claws, and Prehensile Tail. You get a poor man's Yeti, essentially, or Rat Ogre. Now, the Rat Ogre has Mighty Blow, I think, instead of Claws. But you get where we're going with this one. So 150k, you can get a poor man's Yeti with Frenzy. So you've got two different choices of Frenzy there. Unchanneled Fury is the wild animal of old, which is actually a little bit better, but if you're on a team where you've got some chaff, and it's Badlands Brawls, Favoured of, Sylvania, Underworld, and Lustria. So you can take that on a bunch of different players. In fact, Sylvanian team with some kind of giant werewolf, this one here, pretty awesome. Now, any team can take what I've called the mini Morgue. So, plus 50k to 180, it gets Mighty Blow plus 2 and Loner 5 plus. No nega trait. Sneaky 180k Mighty Blow plus 2, Strength 5, no nega trait big guy for any team. And you're thinking, yes please, I'm sure. And the last place we've got the Ball and Chain version. So you lose a movement down to movement 3. You gain Ball and Chain, no hands, really stupid, that's bad. Secret Weapon, that's bad, and plus 2 Strength. That's alright for 80k. So 210k will get you a big guy with a Ball and Chain. Now, downside is it does have Secret Weapon, so it's getting gone at some point. But Badlands Rules, even the Elven League can take this one. So there's a ton of variation here, an absolute ton. And what I've done, or what I think is a really good way to do it, is to flip it around, okay? You've got the basic stat. You've got the basic Bona Fide Big Guy. And then each of these traits kind of creates an archetype. So what we're going to do is quickly look through the archetypes so you can kind of judge the cost, judge the skills, and then because you can then tweak them by adding and subtracting some stats, you can start brewing up ideas of why you'd want to take one of these mercenaries. So first up we've got the Troll archetype, 120k with the trait added, movement 4, strength 5, edge 5+, passing 5+, armor 9+. Loner 4+, isn't too bad, mighty blow, throw teammate, always hungry, projectile vomit is good, really stupid, and regeneration. So regeneration with armor 9+ and strength 5 is a poor man's troll essentially. But you've got the key things there. So 120k will give you a bargain basement throw teammate player. Now you can do a couple of things here. Because you can adjust stats and add skills if you want, you can add strong arm. You can take away a cheeky bit of agility, or if you don't want it, a bit of armor. Thinking about it, trolls use agility never, so you can save a little bit of cash removing an agility point and potentially a point of movement if all you want to do is make a troll catapult or put him on the line to punch things. Obviously my favourite one, the Minotaur archetype, 150k, movement 4, strength 5, edge 4+, passing 5+, armor 9+, Loner 4+, mighty blow, frenzy, unchanneled fury, and horns. This is a Minotaur in every way except you've lost a point of movement. That's fantastic. And the great thing about this Minotaur archetype is that you can drop both points of passing, okay? Minotaur's not likely to be passing the ball. And that will give you a 20k discount on any skill or upgrade that you then want to take. So if you want to put claws on it, I think it's 40k, you've saved 20k, 170k for a Minotaur with claws. Build your own Bloodthirster. And the Rat Ogre / Yeti type here, 150k again, 4+, 4+, 5+, 9+, Loner, Mighty Blow +1, Frenzy, Animal, Savagery, Claws, and Prehensile Tail. So you lose the... oh wow, it starts with Claws and Mighty Blow. I know they don't combo as great, but they still work really well together. Prehensile Tail is okay. Animal Savagery is an interesting one. This gives you a slightly alternative. The Minotaur's always going to have to do 2+ to blitz or block. That's fine. Animal Savagery is going to give you a 2+ to avoid punching somebody locally. So this can be taken on Badlands Brawls, favoured of Lustrian, Sylvanian and Underworld teams. So those teams tend to have some cheap dudes. The Lustrian team doesn't, favoured of Chaos teams not so much, but Sylvanian have got cheap linemen everywhere. The Underworld teams tend to as well. I mean, they're probably looking at some Snotlings, and the Badlands Brawls team do. So you can put this Rat Ogre merrily in a Snotling based team or another team where you've got cheap chaff linemen, and you're just going to have a great time automatically blitzing with Mighty Blow and Claw wherever you want to go. And yes, this is Lustria, so yes, 150k for a Mighty Blow, Claw, Rat Ogre thing on an Amazon team. This is terrifying. And Mini Morgue, we've got Mini Morgue, so 180k now for a movement 4, strength 5, agility 4+, passing 5+, armor 9+, loner 5+, mighty blow +2, throw teammate. You've got this archetype. You can then adjust. You can save 20k by getting rid of your passing stat. Fantastic, takes him down to 160k, and then you can just add some skills if you want to. The armor is a little bit low, but you're still strength 5, and you've got mighty blow +2. I think there are some really cool little combos with this one. Just thinking, what can we take? What can we take that's cheap enough? Because if you are building something and you can save 40k, how much is a general skill? 40k. There we go. So drop both the passing stats, drop your cost to 160, chuck in block for 40k, 200k, no negatrait, mighty blow +2 block. Build your own Zug. And the last archetype is the Ball and Chain. So this one starts at 210. For a movement 3, strength 7, Ball and Chain. It's got agility 4+, got passing 5+, got armor 9+, mighty blow +1. That's a good start. Throw teammate, never going to use it. Ball and Chain, no hands, really stupid, and secret weapon. So really stupid is really bad for your Ball and Chain. That is a pain because you're never blitzing with them. You're always kind of moving with them. Oh, it's a special action that replaces the block action potentially, so it might be a cheeky 2+. Have to look into that because that is a confusing element of it. because you don't tend to get really stupid players that have ball and chain. Anyway, that's the starting point. 210 for a ball and chain. You drop 2 agility straight off the bat. You drop 2 passing straight off the bat. That takes it down to 170k, and now you're kind of in the territory where, man, I'm okay. 170k for a ball and chain, no star, is quite expensive, but it's an option there for you, and it's not a terrible place to start. So those are the archetypes, and then you kind of go back to the menu and you can start brewing up things that you'd want to do. It really does come down to removing the stat, and if you've got passing you don't need, it's 20k off. So realistically, if you're not going to be throwing a teammate, you've got an opportunity there to save 20k on any of these upgrades that you fancy. Now, some of the upgrades you might like is this 30k and 60k bonus to passing. Okay, if you just take the straight up Bona Fide Big Guy at 130k, passing 5+, if you can adjust it to a passing 3+ for 190k, then you've built a really good throw teammate machine. And on top of that, then you could take potentially a passing skill for 220k, and then for 220k you've got a passing 3+ strong arm teammate thrower with Bonehead. 220k to get a 3+ superb pass. Okay, 3+ is fantastic if that's your jam. If that's your game, then that is brilliant. And it's just quite cool that you can build that. On the other side, you've got these skills. You've got skill access. You drop passing 2. Sorry, you drop 2 passing, you save 20k, and you can give a general skill for 20k. Okay, so that Mighty Blow +2 piece becomes a absolute bargain at 200k for strength, 5 Mighty Blow 2 block. Like, that is going to change most games, and that's with the Nega trait gone. And it's okay to go with that. I would merrily pay 180k over 140k for an Ogre if it came with no Nega trait and an extra Mighty Blow. Absolute chonker, an absolute god piece on the Blood Bowl pitch. And you can just drop that 20k and make it 160k for a big guy with Mighty Blow +2 and no Nega trait. Fantastic. So final thoughts on the Bona Fide Big Guy. 0 to 1, 130k is a really low bar. You can boost it up to 150k and just take this guy with block. Man, this gets really potent. So if you are allowing yourself to have Mercenaries in your league, I do recommend starting with the archetypes and working back. And how you run them in your league, that is more interesting. And whether you run them in a tournament, again, that is an interesting point. And Ben and I talk about that on episode 66 of the podcast, because it is going to be really impactful one way or another. It is very complicated, and it reminds me of the old, like when there's 40k, you could build your own vehicles and build your own monsters. You are building your own star players here, and they are really good, and it's very exciting. Let me know in the comments below what you think, whether this is a good idea, whether it's not a good idea, whether you're looking forward to facing Amazons with big guys. I'll be back again soon with more Blood Bowl content. Thanks for watching. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.